Why do you replay embarrassing memories years later? It's 11 p.m. You're brushing your teeth. Out of nowhere, your brain hands you a memory. You're 14 years old. You said something in front of the wrong people. Everyone laughed in the wrong way. You can see the room. You can see the face of the person you most wanted to impress. You can feel the heat rising in your cheeks the way you felt it then. You haven't thought about this in 7 years. You spit out the toothpaste. You stand there for a moment, staring at the sink. Then you cringe so hard your shoulders move. This happens to everyone. A 2008 study from the University of Aarhus by psychologist Dorthe Berntsen found that the average adult experiences several involuntary autobiographical memories every day, and a disproportionate share of them are negative, embarrassing, or socially painful. You don't choose them. You can't stop them. And the brain seems to prefer them in higher resolution than your happiest moments. Why? Why does a healthy human brain keep an extremely vivid file of every social humiliation you've ever experienced and play it back to you, unprompted, for the rest of your life? The answer goes back about 300,000 years. Let's start with where embarrassment lives in your brain. Functional MRI scans have repeatedly shown that the experience of social embarrassment activates the same regions as physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex, the insula, the amygdala. The exact circuits that fire when you stub your toe also fire when you remember saying the wrong thing at a party. This isn't poetic, it's literal. Your brain processes social pain through the same hardware as bodily injury, and there's a reason for that. For 300,000 years, your ancestors lived in small bands of around 25 to 150 people. Everyone knew everyone. Reputation was permanent. The entire group depended on the cooperation of each member, and exclusion from the group was, in practical terms, a death sentence. You couldn't survive the savannah alone. You couldn't gather enough food. You couldn't fight off predators. You couldn't keep watch at night. So the body wired social pain to the same alarm system as physical pain, because the consequences, on a long enough timeline, were the same. If you broke your leg, your brain made absolutely sure you remembered exactly what had hurt you, exactly when, exactly how, so that you would never put your weight on that rock again. It did the exact same thing with social wounds. In 2003, neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran an experiment where she had participants play a simple online ball-tossing game called Cyberball. After a few minutes, the game was rigged so that the other two players stopped throwing the ball to them. They were socially excluded. The brain scans showed the same activation as people experiencing real physical pain. The participants weren't dying. They weren't injured. They had been excluded from a fake game by strangers they had never met, and their brains responded as if something had attacked them. This is the system that's running when you're brushing your teeth and a memory from 2007 ambushes you, even decades later. Even when the people in the memory are no longer in your life. Even when the event was so small that, told to anyone else, it would barely register as a story at all. But the question is, why does it keep coming back? If the brain stored embarrassing memories the same way it stored what you had for lunch on a Tuesday in 2019, you'd never think about them again. The fact that they keep returning means the brain is doing something specific. It's running a simulation. In 2017, psychologist Daniel Schachter at Harvard published a body of work proposing that involuntary memories are not random. They are the brain's offline learning system. When you aren't actively focused on something, your default mode network, a network that lights up during rest, daydreaming, and quiet moments, replays past events to extract patterns from them. What patterns? The patterns that almost got you killed. Embarrassing memories carry the highest survival weight. The brain replays them at random intervals to keep updating its model of social risk. Every time it shows you the memory, it asks the same quiet question. What should you have done? What signal did you miss? What would you do differently next time? This isn't depression. This isn't a malfunction. This is a 300,000-year-old training algorithm still trying to keep you safe in a tribe that no longer exists. And here's the part nobody talks about. The memory feels so much sharper than reality because nobody else remembers it. In 2000, psychologist Thomas Gilovich at Cornell coined a term for this: the spotlight effect. Across dozens of experiments, he showed that humans drastically overestimate how much other people notice and remember about them. He had participants wear embarrassing t-shirts into a room of strangers, then asked the strangers afterward how many had noticed. The participants thought roughly half. The actual number was closer to 1 in 5. The person who you think still remembers what you said in 2007 has almost certainly forgotten. They have moved on. They have built whole adult lives around memories of their own. The version of you that lives in their head, if it exists at all, is very different from the version you've been replaying. The cringe is one-sided. The pain is private. The audience that's still watching you is made entirely of you. But knowing this doesn't make the cringe stop, because the alarm isn't designed for accuracy. It's designed for safety. The brain would rather fire 10 false alarms than miss the one real one. So you get the memory, again, 15 years later, exactly when you sit down to read in the quiet of your own apartment, where nothing is happening to you at all. And here is what almost nobody understands. The reason the memory is so vivid is because of how much you cared. The cringe is a residue of how much was at stake for you at that moment. Your 14-year-old self was building a self. Every interaction was data. Every signal mattered. The brain encoded that moment in high definition because, to you, at that age, your entire social future depended on it. You weren't being dramatic. You were being a human. What you're feeling now isn't a record of how stupid you were. It's a record of how alive you were. And the brain that won't let go of those memories is the same brain that is currently very good at noticing social risk in real time. The vigilance is the gift. The cost is that sometimes, while you're brushing your teeth, the old alarm still fires for an event that ended in 2007. There's one more thing. Researchers have found that involuntary memories are processed differently if you let them complete. If you try to push the memory away, it tends to come back more intensely the next time. If you let it run, look at it, even silently say to yourself, "That was painful, and I survived it," the brain marks the file as resolved. It returns less often. It returns less sharply. The cringe attack is your brain offering you the same memory over and over again, looking for someone to receive it. The brain is not punishing you. It is asking for permission to put the file away. The person it's looking for is you. Not the version of you that was 14. The version of you that is here now. The one who knows the story ends okay. Tonight, when you're brushing your teeth and the memory comes back, and it will because that's what your brain was built to do, try not to flinch. Just let it happen. Say to it quietly, "I remember. We made it." That's the version of you the memory has been waiting for. It was always you.